Well, it's been a while now. We've had the UEV-14 for quite some time. Hello, Pooch. Yes, I know. And I feel like we really can comment on what it is capable of, what we've liked, what we haven't liked, what we've broken, what has held together really well. Because in general, it has been really good. But as like everything in life, nothing is ever perfect, or that's how I was brought up. Not to be not happy with something, but to always keep improving. So here's a quick snapshot of what we put the UEV-14 through in our time having it so far. It's been a ball, and then we'll get into what's broken, what we like, and what we don't. Okay, so like I said, it seemed to be a good time to get the UEV-14 out of the shed and give you guys a real review of what we think about it and how it's performed so far. We've used Lance to tow him out of the shed. I wish I could use Lance to tow him further, but I don't think 50 horsepower would pull the UEV-14. Anyway, so we'll start at the front of the van and work our way around. Megs will have a bit of a rundown of what's inside and everything in between. Okay, so there is something to note straight away on the front. The UEV-14 and any other Conqueror camper do not come with stone protection. A lot of people will see this maybe as a negative. I thought it was a positive. We always run a stone stomper, and once you put that stone stomper on, it negates the need for stone protection on the front of the van. I'm a big believer if you don't need it, don't take it, because it just adds weight, and it also encroaches on when you're turning the vehicle. So I think that's a positive not having it. It shortens up the front of the van, keeping it compact and keeping with the theme of Conqueror. They do come from a camper trailer heritage, so small and compact, that's a winner for me. So all Conqueror campers come with airbag suspension. They're Firestone airbags, Airbag Man compressor, so it's nice quality gear and has about 75 to 80 mil of travel in the UEV-14. Now that's something I have gone to them and said, you know, let's try and maximize that travel. Look, it's been adequate. It's never given us any dramas. It's done everything we've needed to do, and being that we are here to test these campers, that is one of our big roles with Conqueror. I am that kind of driver at the moment that aims for potholes and just goes a little bit faster than, you know, what I would do if this was my camper. That sounds really harsh, and you know, I'm not out there to wreck your campers, Conqueror, but you did give me this role to test them and try and accelerate that testing. So we have yet to break anything mechanically underneath. And I'm saying that like I'm expecting something to, and that's not the case, but it has been robust. It would be nice to see a little bit more than 75 mil travel in that airbag suspension, I will say that. Wheels and tyres are a pretty damn important thing in an off-road van or camper, and it's something I've always harped on about on this channel, about having good quality tyres. We do run Mickey Thompson tyres on the 79 series. I got BF Goodrich on old Lance. When I saw that these had Canada tyres, we did speak to our wheel and tyre sponsor, and he said, look, they are a pretty good tyre. And we really have tested them, running them at really low pressures, you know, 400 to 500 kilometres we covered on Gari. And, you know, they've really stood up to that test. That is a real brutal test of a tyre because they get really hot at those temperatures. And look, they've worn really well and they've just performed perfectly so far. So I can't knock the wheel and tyre package. That's been really good. So suspension, wheels and tyres. The next real big thing when you're going off-road is dust, especially in a camper or caravan. I was really happy to see, and it's always been a Conqueror thing. I've been following Conqueror for a lot of years. I'm sort of standing back watching them, and I've always liked them. And I knew that they always had their own dust suppression system fitted. But that's not to say it can't be improved, especially on the UEV-14. The location and how that filter was sealed left a little bit to be desired. So we have rectified that in this, and I'm happy to say that with a good seal on that filter in there, we have not seen any dust, especially in under the bed. Like it pressurizes under the bed first, and that's where all the electronics are, and there's you know, a lot of black surfaces under there that you really would see dust on. To be honest, I think we've probably covered 200 to 250 kilometers of dusty dirt roads. It doesn't sound like a lot, but I would say if you're going to get dust in there, you get dust in the first 50 Ks. Whether you do 50 or 1,000 Ks, it should be in there. You should see it straight away. So I'm really confident that that is working. However, again, that can be improved, and we have suggested to move it into a higher, better location. For me, that would be a worthwhile improvement on the UEV-14. We're going to talk about the step. You want to talk about it? You right, buddy? So the electric steps copped a little bit of flack for hanging down a bit low. We had one episode in particular where it got hung up a couple of times, and we did give it a bit of a bashing, and it's survived quite well, and it still works to this day. Look, something has to be the lowest point of your van. That's just how it is. Happens to be the step. It's nice and close to the wheel, so I don't think it's an issue. So the UEV-14 has a rear fold out section, and that design itself is a really hard one to keep dust out. The rear of the caravan is the dustiest place by far. If you've ever had push bikes on the back of a van, you'll understand that after 500 Ks along a dirt road, those push bikes are toast. All the bearings are full of dust. It's just the worst environment that you can have on a caravan to try and keep dust out of. I'm happy to say we haven't actually seen any dust come through the rear seal on the van. With that positive pressure fan running through that filter, we've found it's worked really well. Look, this isn't a UEV-14 thing. This is an every caravan thing. We've had so many different vans from, you know, ranging from $10,000 up to $180,000, and without a positive pressure system working properly, none of them, I don't think, are dust free. That's up for debate, and there'll be people that disagree with me, but that is my belief. And we have done a fair bit of travel now and done around 10,000 Ks of dirty, dusty roads to understand how important that positive pressure system is. And yes, the better you do get things sealed, the better that will work. But ultimately, if that positive pressure system is working properly, that is what will keep the dust out of the caravan. The other consideration when creating a van with a fold-out section like this is trying to keep it waterproof. They've done a brilliant job. I've experienced one drip out of that little seal when set up and laying in bed one night, and the wind was howling and driving rain, and you know that's very acceptable in my eyes. Coming from a construction background, I know that like trying to keep a house waterproof in rain and driving wind like that is very difficult. So from an engineering point of view, they've done a really nice job on this seal, and it's worked really well. The other big consideration in an off-road van is the hardware, you know, the battery setup, the solar, your hot water, your heating, your fridges. I can really happily say that it has been flawless. We have not had any electrical fault. That's not to say that there aren't improvements that can be made. I feel that the DC-DC charger at 30 to 33 amp charge rate, they are underrated, so they do charge a little bit above 30 amps. Is probably not enough in this day and age to try and get a serious amount of charge back into the batteries. One thing that could really help that would be a standalone solar reg for the fixed solar panels that are on the roof of the caravan, which is starting to become common practice now. So you get a DC-DC charge and solar panels when you're driving. That would up that input to about 40 to 45 amps in perfect sunny conditions. Also, the 300 watts that is on the roof is a little bit light on. There is a bit more space up there that maybe could accommodate a few more panels. Look, all these things are wants, they're not needs. It has worked flawlessly. We are a big believer in turning the jug and toaster on every morning. We do use the inverter a lot. This is a 300 amp model. They do offer up to 900. Again, that would probably make it more important to get that power back in quicker. 900 amps is a lot of power to replenish. So that's something I would be looking to improve in future vans we have through Conqueror, is get that power system charging quicker. The Red Vision system I've loved. Coming from Sea Marine, not to say the Sea Marine wasn't a good system, the Red Vision just does more because it's not only monitoring, it's switching as well, and it's a lot simpler and nicer to use. The Wi-Fi works flawlessly on it. That's something I can't say about the Sea Marine. It was a little bit dicky in its operation when it was wireless. And to be honest, it didn't really need to be. The Red Arc being wireless really works because it is also switching. I can just reach it from the car, sitting in the driver's seat, to turn the dust suppression fan on. I think that's a fantastic feature. You're driving along all of a sudden you're on a dirt road, and that's how me and Megan travel. We never know where we're going to bloody end up, and I can just turn that dust suppression on from the driver's seat. That's killer for me. The hot water and heater is gas unit. It's a Truma gas unit in our van. In most of the UEV-14s it would be like that. I would suggest that has been freaking awesome. I would say that it probably heats a bit quicker and is quieter than our previous Webasto we've used in the past. The Webasto being a diesel heater. In saying that, I still like the idea of diesel. It does freak me out a little bit having gas lines inside a van. That's just me. So that's something I would like to see, would be maybe trial some diesel heater, diesel hot water combi unit instead of the gas. The gas has been awesome. I can't fault it. It's just my little insecurities with gas, that is. And it'd be good to see how it went. The other beauty of doing that is if you had 900 amps and enough solar, you could probably try that gasless van, getting rid of the gas bottles off the front altogether, which also gets a lot of weight off the drawbar. There's always little payoffs and little bonuses to doing things. I think there's a good one there in that all you need to carry then is a little 5 litre drum of diesel. And if you're using a diesel vehicle to tow, you've got the one type of fuel to run everything. Water capacity of 200 litres plus 2 20-litre jerry cans on the back of the van and an 80-litre grey water tank is miles of water. We travelled with a lot more water than that previously in our previous van, and we've struggled to ever use it. I do have a 100-litre water tank in our ute, so that's how we set up. If you're not willing to go without a shower here and there, you probably shouldn't be camping. So 200 litres of water to me is heaps. Any more, it's just adding so much weight. So I think they've nailed the capacities there, and 2 jerry cans on the back work perfect for your drinking water. So instead of having complicated filter systems on your tanks, we just put our nice clean drinking water on the jerry cans on the back, and sometimes simple is best, and that's, I think, perfect. Okay, so our UEV-14 has the electric awning on it. I really wanted to hate this thing. I never liked the idea of it, but it has given us no trouble at all. It's worked flawlessly. We leave it up in quite windy conditions. Again, windier than if it was my own van, which sounds really harsh, but this is what we're here to do, and it has stood up really well. The only thing it doesn't do is cover the kitchen properly. So proper, rainy, windy conditions, and you've got to try and cook outside because it is a camper hybrid. There's no cooking inside, remember. It does make it difficult. I think that's where the optional 180 awning would be better. Yes, it'd take a little bit longer to set up, but you would cover the kitchen properly, especially if you added a couple of walls. So yeah, in a touring scenario where you want to pull up and have a really quick setup at the end of the day, that is really good. I really do like that. But the 180 is going to cover that kitchen properly, which is important when you have to cook outside. For a van with so many nuts, bolts, rivets and moving parts, we really literally have had nothing fall off, nothing break. And I kind of say that in a surprised manner because any trailer or caravan or anything you tow on rough roads, these things you do have to look after. You do have to maintain. You do have to make sure things are tight and kept tight, and keep an eye on things properly. You can't just tow something forever and not maintain it. I'm really happy to say that it really has held together quite well, and it's a real Meccano set, and it's a credit to them to build something so complicated and have it work so well in such harsh environments. One thing I will mention is the suspension bolts are something that really need to be inspected at a regular basis. This isn't a UEV-14 thing, this is an independent suspension thing. Our previous vans I've done the same, and you will find that those bolts are able to be tightened up periodically. They will work loose occasionally. Look, it's not a normal thing, but it's something to keep an eye on, and make sure that that wheel alignment and camber is marked, and keep an eye on it and make sure it's in the right position as well. If that camber or toe adjustment gets out, it will chew your tyres out quite quickly. But it goes along with any moving part on a van, including the suspension, is something that needs to be kept an eye on, and the UEV-14 is no different there. So one of the best things about the UEV-14, I think, is the size and the layout. And once you set it up and you get inside, you're like, wow, this is a really big van in a little package. So let's get Megs to take us through what we do and don't like inside. And most of this is all good.
All right, so the first time I stepped inside the UEV-14, I was actually blown away about how spacious it was in here. We've seen a lot of hybrid caravans in our time, and they're all a bit of a similar layout. But yeah, when I walked in here, I was like, oh my God, I thought coming from a really big van down to a UEV-14 sort of style hybrid, I was going to be a bit like crammed in here and not really loving it. But after having it for a few months now, we are absolutely loving this layout, and particularly the beds as well. The bed setup is really good. So we've got a king size bed back here, which is a true king because I do have my king size fitted sheets from home on this bed. I do run like a queen size doona. So a lot of people have been actually contacting me and asking me, what linen do you put on the bed? So a king size sheet set and then a queen size doona. So one of the things we were a little bit apprehensive about the bed was the fact that it is a dinette bed combo. So you can convert it from a dining area down to a bed, which means that all the mattress is in lots of little pieces. I was a little bit like, oh, I don't know whether we're going to need like sort of a mattress topper or something on that just to make it a little bit more comfortable. But I can honestly say that we have never put a topper on this bed and we sleep absolutely fine in it. I was really, really surprised by that. All the vans that I've ever had before, we've always had a topper just to make it that little bit more comfortable. But at the moment, we're just running a mattress protector on this bed and it is fine. So the UEV-14 truly is a 5-berth van. You've got a single bunk up top and you've got a double bed down below. Works brilliantly with our 2 kids. Usually the little one sleeps up top and Willow will sleep down below, but occasionally they'll sleep together. So in really bad weather or in really cold weather, they sleep down below together, or they can separate, and it just works perfect.
Or you get kicked out of your own bed and you end up in there with one of the kids, which is all part of being a parent. But
it does happen.
It's actually really worthwhile noting that, because as a parent, everyone knows that happens, and it is a true double bed width, and it's more than long enough to sleep in there comfortably. I would say me and Megan could sleep in there comfortably. It's it's a good bed. It's a good bed setup. It's a good layout inside. Righto, Megs, jump in the shower, because this is a bloody good little unit. The combi unit we thought would be a problem because yes, you do have to dry the floor after you've had a shower if you want to use the toilet. But it hasn't been that big a deal. Hey, it's pretty good.
No, I was very apprehensive about this sort of style layout being combined and that everything would get wet. To be honest, it's really only the floor and the top of the toilet that you need to dry after a shower. It works for us, and I definitely would have a shower and toilet in a small hybrid van. So it is a compromise, but you know, you've got to have a shower and toilet.
You can't have a separate shower and toilet in this size van. Obviously, once you do that, it takes up so much space, and then that shower and toilet separately still end up a smaller space than one combi unit. So that's a good compromise. We do like the shower toilet combo.
It's a winner.
So I'm happy to say that there is absolutely zero timber in here. None of the furniture is made out of timber. It's like a composite honeycomb aluminium board. The only downside to that is a few of the screws have worked their way loose, and it's something we have brought to Conqueror's attention. We fixed it up and it's nice and solid, and it's something they look at improving. So with everything, you know, you're trying to make something 100% timber free. Sometimes some of these materials are hard to fix to, and that was one of the little things that we have noticed inside. Other than that, everything is held together really well.
So we have been just recently to Fraser Island, and the storage in the van...
Wait. Or is it Gari? Because, oh my God, we're copping some flack about that. By the way, me and Megan didn't name it. We're just going along with what it's called.
Yes.
So
Name it what you like.
Yeah. For the people that want it to be Fraser, it can be Fraser. For the people that want it to be Gari, it's Gari.
Rant over.
Rant over.
Anyway, we just went to Fraser/Gari, and we were there for about, well, that whole trip was about 2 weeks. We have also done a 2-week stint down south in the snow. So the storage in this van is incredible. Like, we had all our ski gear in here. We had, you know, track pants, jumpers, a lot of warm clothes. And then we were obviously at Gari as well. We had a lot of towels and just a lot of clothes. And I think I go a little bit overboard packing with clothes sometimes.
As everyone does.
Yes. But the storage in here is really great. Like, you've got the zip up pockets, so you can jam as much as you like in there and just zip them up and they stay closed. So you don't have a worry of things popping out or anything like that. It does keep the weight down, which is another really great idea with an off-road van, just trying to keep the weights down all the time. But yeah, being a woman, and I know there's a lot of women out there that like to pack a lot of clothes, and you probably overpack your kids' clothes and things like that. we can fit so much in this van. It was a topic that I was sort of thinking that coming from a bigger van, are we going to have enough storage? But yeah, it's plenty. Another thing I love about the van was the TV comes on a bracket mounted, but it has these cool little leather straps that keep it in place when you're going off-road. Means you don't have to store the TV somewhere in another cupboard, taking up more space. It just stays up there with these straps on. We've done a lot of off-roading with it now and it's never come off. The straps are really good. Coming outside, I wanted to show you a few things that I actually love about the kitchen. So I'll open this up. With this van and all Conquerors, you actually get all your cutlery, cups, plates, utensils. There's a lot that's included in these vans. I was, again, not sure on what the quality of this stuff would be like, but after using it over and over and over, it's very good quality. The only thing is the wine glasses could be slightly bigger.
I don't know about that.
But no, it's like all the plasticware is really, really good, and that's gone through a lot of off-roading, and I think the way that they've laid all this out in here is perfect. So nothing rubs together, everything's got its place. Yeah, it works really well.
Yeah, it is 100% a worthy addition, having all that stuff in its own place.
Yeah,
for sure.
So we have spoken about the plates before. They are absolutely huge. You could use it as a cheese platter or something, but they're very, very thick. They're really good quality, and yeah, they're really good. So this is the outdoor sink, and this is awesome. I actually was a bit like, oh, it's a bit of a basic idea, but after setting it up and using it, where you can just tip the water out, no external pipes or anything like that. Yeah, it's awesome.
Simple is best sometimes. That is good. What do you think about the height of the kitchen? Because there has been talk about, you know, this kitchen being possibly too high. I don't think we've really found it to be an issue.
No, not really. I mean, it does depend on where you're setting up.
Yes,
like sometimes you're not on even ground. It can be higher or even lower. Yeah, but it's been fine for us. I think the new models, they might have dropped it down slightly. So that's a solution to this problem now. But
either way, it's really not that big a deal. And it's just trying to utilise the full amount of space under the bed.
So the fridge setup, you've got the 80-litre fridge freezer outside, and you've also got an 80-litre fridge inside, which is really handy to have things in there and out here. We cook outside all the time. We always have. So being able to just grab things in and out and putting them straight back in the fridge is so much better than having to run in and out of a van all the time and grab things from inside and take them outside. So that's been really great.
Yeah, and coming from our previous van had a 280-litre internal fridge.
Yeah.
We've probably done the same amount of time away from a grocery store in this setup with 160 litres of fridge, and it is more than enough.
Yeah, the fridge and freezer in this is a good size, and we've been off grid for, what, 2 weeks?
Yeah, you probably get 2 weeks pretty comfortably, yeah.
If you really meal plan and sort out your food situation, you can get a lot in these fridges. Especially, really good.
Especially a chest freezer is always going to be better than an upright, I think.
Yeah, they have the baskets in there that you can fill things, and then you can actually move them out to dig down to the next level, so you don't have to pull everything out to get to the bottom layers. So that's a really good setup.
Righto, so the piece de resistance in a Conqueror has to be the pantry. The pantry's kick-ass. It's good.
Yeah, one of my favourite features of this van, because it's so bespoke and you don't really see it anywhere else. It fits a lot in here. I'm so surprised.
Get to all the snacks from bed.
Yeah, there's a zipper there so you can reach in and out. But I don't know, everything's here. When you're making tea and coffee, it's just there. It's not in some other little, cabinet somewhere that you've got to pull in and out. I just love that all the things that you need are just at your fingertips. And when you're cooking, you can just come and grab something, put it straight back. Yeah, it's nice and easy. Oh my God, I love these pockets. So these are on all the doors of the Conqueror on both sides of the caravan, that you can fit heaps of things in them. They're really good heavy duty canvas as well. The only thing is sometimes you don't know what's in what. So a little clear window on them might be a worthy addition.
Yes,
but apart from that, it is so handy just to be able to throw in all your little, your mozzie coils and just random bits and pieces and have them out the way.
Alright guys, well that is what we think of the UEV-14. It truly has been really good. We haven't really actually broken anything on it, and we have been trying to some degree. Sorry, Conqueror. We've done around 10, well, kind of. We've done around 10,000 Ks in it, and about 2 months of actually sleeping in the van, from the snow to the beach to four-wheel drive tracks to just those basic weekenders and up and down the highway, New South Wales country roads. And if anyone's been out there, you know how rough those are too. And it has performed overall really well, but but there's always room for improvement. And that's a big part of what we're here to do as Conqueror ambassadors, and we freaking love our job. And that's what we think of the 14.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of people that we know have asked us, oh, how are you liking it after having such a big van before? Do you know what? It doesn't feel like a small van.
No,
it doesn't feel that much different. In fact, it's a really, really quick setup. Like, everyone seems to think that a hybrid takes ages to set up. It doesn't. It takes us about 5 minutes and we're fully set up. The space inside is great. Like, we don't feel crammed, and we've been in it in some pretty bad weather. Yep. So that's been a real bonus.
There's enough room to escape in there, that's right.
And the main thing is we can go to more places now because we've got a smaller van. So that was the whole idea of doing it.
So Fraser Island or Gari was a really good example of the previous big van we had. We would have got it across on the Fraser, no worries, but there's no way we would have got across to the western side. And the western side was probably one of those places we will never forget. So
my favourite place, I reckon. I can't wait to get back there. Check out that video.
Yeah, for sure. Like, the hybrid has allowed us to do those extra trips, and that's exactly why we come back to a hybrid style van. And we're so glad we're involved with Conqueror, and they have been really, really interested in what we've got to say. So it's really exciting, and they're listening to everyone's feedback. So that's really exciting for us to be part of something that is heading in the right direction, that's for sure. Definitely. And the UEV-14 is part of that. So look, that's you know, all the warts and all, guys, of exactly what we have loved, hated, broken in our UEV-14.
Yep. Let's go and do some more adventures.
Let's do it. Let's take Lance.
I don't know about that.